classy and ratchet, sophisticated and rebellious. I am daring and risque, but I have taste, and I don't hesitate to use it. I know what I want and what I need. I am the embodiment of truth, and I embrace truth around me. Rawness excites me. Appreciation of individuality enlightens me. I navigate this world using my sight and my vision. I am honored to be a creative, fortunate to live in the age of innovation. In my world, there exists no fashion without art. I am not afraid to leave my mark on this world, and I will. HAUS.
It was like Fashion Week inside of our apartment in Harlem. Oh, that's actually a really good question. That's a really, really good question. I actually like to consider myself more a part of the art world as opposed to just being solely a part of the world of fashion. And I really like to describe myself as an artist that just uses fabric and non-fabric materials, and of course the human body, as her canvas. Right? The more and more I delved into my art, I just felt like fashion alone really did not fully allow me to express some of the things that I wanted to say and that I love to do. I guess that correlation between fabric and using the human body obviously just resonates more with people who are into fashion, which is fine. I got my degree in fashion design. I studied at FIT, at the Fashion Institute of Technology, so definitely fashion is a huge part of my life. I don't know if I really could do what I do without that background and love and appreciation for fashion. My earliest fascination with art was actually around the age of 4. I can still recall the anticipation of my family arriving home from grocery shopping. We have all of these like plastic bags laying around, and for some reason, like looking at all the bags, I just had like an urge to make something that I could wear. What I used to do was take the grocery bags and I would rip a little hole at the bottom of the bag. I would literally step into the bag and put my arms through the sleeve and roll the sleeves. I would put my arms through the handle and put my arms through the handle of the bag and make a sleeve. And I would just model my little dress around the house. And you couldn't tell me I wasn't showing my collection at Fashion Week when I was like 4 years old. I'm right there on 116th Street in Morningside. Yeah. So I guess if you want to be technical, I've always had a desire and a fascination and love for creating garments out of non-fabric materials, and specifically dresses, because I do tend to love to focus on gowns. I love gowns. I remember in school learning how to make trousers. It was okay, but I just always wanted to make gowns, not skirts, not shorts. I always wanted to make these elaborate, creative, intricate gowns. There's a story of my childhood which I think really influenced my love for gowns, and hopefully one day I'll get to share that with you. I know one day I'll get to share that with you. I realize more than ever that my fashion sense is always constantly evolving. And I think that goes back to just where I derive my inspiration from. I just naturally derive my inspiration from my immediate world, from my everyday life, the landscape of which I'm living in, and the things that I'm observing are constantly evolving, are constantly shifting and evolving. I love to learn. So I'm always researching topics that I find interesting and fascinating and mind-blowing. And because so, there's no one point of reference. Sometimes those references are even conflicting. For me, those are the exciting moments, because that's when I really get to think and question things and really get into my zone as a creative and as a thinker and as someone who really appreciates and loves discovery. But there are a few characteristics that I do think hold steady within my body of work, key elements that are a staple in my fashion sense. Conceptual, because it's my interpretation and my expression of things that I've either studied or things that are happening right before my eyes. It's my way of expressing my emotions through my art in that way. Eclectic again, because sometimes these frames of reference are opposing, or sometimes the inspiration just comes from two very different places, but just feel right to me to put together. And definitely rebellious, because I think that kind of just goes along with my personality. I think there always has to be at least a little bit of rebellion within any innovative idea. I think it's innately embedded in anyone who thinks for themselves, anyone that has questions. So in designing, I definitely do pay a great deal of attention to detail, to rich color palettes, and to really eclectic pattern combinations. I love contrast. I love inventive silhouettes. I think right next to my love and passion of science exists my love and my fascination with anatomy and the human body, specifically the female body. I love to bring into question our perception of beauty. I love to challenge ideals, to question, are those ideals based off of nature or nurture? I don't think I'm unique in this way though. I think a lot of artists, specifically fashion designers, have also had this love, this fascination with the human form, specifically the female form. Have always been obsessed with manipulating the female form. If you think about designers like Christian Dior and his emphasis of the bust, the cinching of the waist, and his adding volume to the derriere,
the butt.
Leni Van de Viver with her heels that reshaped a woman's foot and also had an influence on the way she walked and the way she moved. I think that's just like an ongoing, on-running kind of fascination with artists and with creative people. If you look at sculpture and painting and fashion, even everyday people, I mean, if you just take 5 minutes to scroll through Instagram and just look at all the waist trainers and butt lifters and bust enhancements, it's always been a fascination with me. We as designers just get a chance to play around with that. As most of you who already follow my work know, I love to play around with concepts and incorporate non-fabric materials. I love to create contrast and texture, prints, and style. I think surrealism is another big component to my work. I love to manipulate texture. I love to use fabric to imitate non-fabric material, and I love to use non-fabric material to imitate fabric. So yeah, it just really intrigued me to push the limits of what we consider fashion and then what we consider traditional art. So yeah, waist trainers and butt lifters.
And as always, remember that art is the transformation of human emotion into something that is tangible.